Hello everybody and welcome to another Matt Reviews in this month of Mattober. We're winding it down, folks. This is, I believe, our Monday review. Like I said, we don't do these on the days they come out, so we're a little confused on what day is what's coming out. But I believe after this there's only one more Matt Review.
And that's the top 10.
And then we're doing the Halloween special. And Matt, real fast, go shut that door.
Oh. Make sure we don't get interrupted.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're winding down the month of October. We definitely saved one of the best for last. Not the last, but one of the last. So what we're reviewing today, Matt?
Reviewing one of my favorite movies, Frankenstein.
Yes, the 1931 Universal classic, directed by, I can't never remember this guy's name, so we have the YouTube page, James Wells. Starring Henry Cavill, of course, Boris Karloff, Dwight Fry. A lot of guys you'll see over and over in Universal. I don't feel like I should even have to give the plot to Frankenstein. I mean, like, I think that's so
popular. Yeah,
that there's no point. But I'll give you a quick rundown. Basically, Frankenstein is a scientist who is obsessed with bringing the dead back to life. That's his dream, is to resurrect the dead. He
had cuckoo.
Well, you could say he's a little bit goofy. He creates this thing made out of recycled dead body parts. Puts a brain in it, but Fritz, right?
Fritz.
His hunchback henchman grabs the wrong brain because he ruins the other brain by dropping it. It's an abnormal brain.
But that scene is hilarious. He hears something like he just drops it on the floor. Like on Cinematics said, he was a dumbass for dropping it.
So he brings the brain, they put it in there, and of course they resurrect Frankenstein, and eventually Frankenstein breaks loose, and it's kind of misunderstood throughout the town. It all like crescendos into a big epic ending with Frankenstein in a windmill.
Yeah, it's not.
We're watching some of the bonus features on the Frankenstein disc right now. So we look a little distracted, that's why. Okay, anyways. So yeah, that's the plot. I mean, I think everybody, if they haven't seen the original Frankenstein, they at least know
what the plot is.
Yeah. So, Matt, what do you think?
What I think about this movie, it's, of course I've said earlier, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. I don't know about you, but
it's my favorite of the Universal monsters.
Yeah.
I mean, I think bar none, it's the best.
My favorite is the Creature from Black Lagoon.
I like Creature from Black Lagoon. I really like all the Universal monsters. By that I mean Creature, Dracula, Mummy, Invisible Man, Wolfman. Wolfman's at least hurt.
What?
Yeah, I've never been a big Wolfman fan. I'm not a big werewolf guy, though, so. But anyways, back to Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's truly an epic. I mean, like, the one thing I've always thought so amazing about especially the Universal films in general, and I'm not the biggest fan of the older movies, like, films from the 1930s, and, those are not my forte. I'm a child. I grew up watching VHSs of stuff from the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, but you got your collection.
And so that's primarily what I enjoy. But I do love the Universal stuff for multiple reasons. One of the big reasons is their sets.
Yeah, the sets are amazing.
They really are. I mean, like, to veer off a little bit, right after Texas Chainsaw, Toby Hooper made a movie called Eaten Alive, where he filmed 90% of it on a soundstage set. And everybody bashes that because the set looks ridiculous, and it does. But in this, especially this movie, there's times where you can't even tell it's a set. I mean, it's just so masterful.
Yeah, it looks like they just went to a building and recorded.
Those castles look like they exist, like for 1931. That's
amazing.
Yeah, they must have freaking like worked forever and ever on that daggum set, especially like the graveyard, which is the first thing you see, and that's the perfect way I love the first shot where it's the wide angle of the pan
Yeah.
over the graveyard.
But the weird thing is, the whole thing's a set.
Mm-hmm.
Even the graveyard.
Mm-hmm. It's all a set. I mean,
Yeah, like some movies like Evil Dead, they just go to a certain place.
yep.
But you can't even tell if it's a set or anything in this one.
I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff about this movie from 1931 that holds up even today. Like, I always said this, like, Tom Savini, praises Lon Chaney, and Lon Chaney deserves a lot of credit because modern makeup wouldn't be what it is today without Lon Chaney.
Yeah, Lon Chaney.
But Jack Pierce's makeup effects are absolutely fantastic. Frankenstein is amazing. It still holds up to this day. When I watch that movie, I don't see Boris Karloff in that character.
No, it looks like most of the Universal films, most of them look realistic.
Yeah, I mean, like
the Gill man, the monster, or Frankenstein, whatever you want to call it. But they look realistic.
Jack Pierce was one of the most innovative men. And what was so amazing, this was an era before, like, Savini would, when he would make up something like, I don't know, Cropsy or Jason, they would make, prosthetic pieces and make a bunch of them, and then just glue them onto the actor's face. Jack Pierce didn't do that. Every day he had to remold Frankenstein, and put that stuff back onto Frankenstein and make him look like he did the day before. I mean, it's amazing,
Yeah, and prosthetics weren't that big back then, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, like, look at other movies of the time. And, a lot of the makeup effects of those movies, they look silly, But Frankenstein looks amazing,
Yeah,
And like you said, the Gill man, I'm not sure if that's Jack Pierce or not, though.
But it looks like...
It looks fantastic, I mean. But I always go back to Frankenstein, like Karloff is such a recognizable figure when you see him outside of the makeup. But when he's Frankenstein, Jack Pierce did such a good job that you don't see Boris Karloff in the character at all.
No.
I mean, like, take the Mummy as well, too. I mean, like I said, Tom Savini's like, oh, Lon Chaney's my idol. He ripped off Jack Pierce. The effect, when he made Emotep, when Emotep, starts to wrinkle, what they do is they stretch the skin and add the latex, so it, gives this dried out stretch effect. That's the same way that Tom Savini did, was it Roger in Dawn of the Dead? When he raises up out of the bed, which is the most iconic scene in Dawn. Jack Pierce was amazing. I could talk about that guy all day. I mean, I think he is the most important guy to ever do makeup effects, other than Lon Chaney.
Wait, Lon Chaney did his own effects?
Yeah, Lon Chaney did all his own effects. But he was Jack Pierce was like, I'm not doing that crazy crap. Lon Chaney would string piano wire through his nose and circle around his back so his nose get hung up. Take metal rings and stick them up under his eyelids so to hold his eyes open. Nobody wanted to do that. Jack Pierce was like, let me just use some clay and stuff and I'll make something,
Yeah. Because, imagine how painful that would be.
Oh my god.
I bet Lon Chaney would have to cut to stop the film for a second.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. Oh my god.
Oh god.
Think about it. London After Midnight, which is the infamous Lost film, had those rings scratched his eyes, he'd have been blind for the rest of his life. You're watching Lon Chaney right now.
Was that Lon Chaney?
No, I think that's a real soldier.
Oh.
But what do you think about the cinematography in this movie? I think
what?
Cinematography.
The record.
The way it looks, man.
Yeah, it's good.
I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the most beautiful movies ever made. It's one of the movies that black and white really benefits,
Yeah, the way as we were talking about earlier, Jack Pierce, who was it?
Jack Pierce.
Yeah, people were trying to do the makeup after that. They can't get it to look just like he did.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's hard. You brought up a good point. You watch some of these other ones later down the road, and with modern makeup effects, and it still doesn't look as good as Jack Pierce's Frankenstein.
Yeah. Jack Pierce is a genius.
He was a genius.
Okay, look, we're getting off track a little bit.
Yeah, we've talked about 9 minutes of Jack Pierce and how amazing he is. But he was a very important guy. The acting, what do you think about the acting in this movie?
The acting is fantastic.
It is. Colin Clive amazing as Dr. Frankenstein.
Even Dwight Fry.
Yeah, Dwight Fry's Fritz is great, but he isn't in it enough to really write home about.
Yeah, he gets killed within the first 30 minutes, maybe.
You know, in these early movies, there's a lot of like overacting, really over the top. But yeah, exactly. But I felt Colin Cloud's performance is just pitch perfect.
Yeah, but
very subtle.
One of the funniest parts in this movie, in my opinion, is where he goes back from the door. He pulls up his sock.
Oh, Dwight Fry?
Yeah, he just walks to the third step and pulls up his sock.
Well, I mean, like, I always felt that kind of added a bit of realism to it.
Yeah, but it's hilarious.
It is weird. Like, it's like, why would you do that?
I don't know.
We keep getting distracted by the TV. Like, I think, like, there's subtle scenes. Like, Colin Clive, of course, everybody's going to remember the lab scene.
Yeah.
Where, he's screaming, "Oh, it's alive!" Everybody's remember that.
That's probably the most famous.
Yeah. But, like, even subtle scenes, like when he's sitting there talking to was it his partner or his professor?
Oh,
I can't exactly remember.
I think I was looking at the IMDb, right after we got done watching the movie. Apparently, his brother was in it.
Was he?
Yeah, not his brother, but in the movie, he has a brother.
Oh, I don't recall that. But, oh yeah, he's one of the people that come with his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when he's talking to that one guy, I can't remember if it's his former, if he was the assistant to this guy or if he was his professor. I can't remember which one. But he's sitting there talking to him. He's defending the Frankenstein monster. I mean, I always thought that was just a brilliant performance. Yeah. And of course, how do you talk about Frankenstein without talking about Karloff?
Yeah.
I mean, for a guy who was given no lines and barely makes any noise.
Except that.
Like, the acting he does with his eyes and his face is just, it's unbelievable. You constantly know what Frankenstein feels and is.
Yeah, but probably the stupidest scene in the movie is where he moonwalks inside the room.
Yeah, that was always like, you're waiting for the big reveal and the door comes slowly cracking open. You're like, oh, we're finally getting to see Frankenstein. And he, like, walks in backwards and turns around. I think they were just trying to milk the moment.
Yeah, but why did he walk in backwards?
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense.
That was always something I felt was a problem. But, it doesn't, like, it hurts the movie or anything. It's just, like, it feels like that could have been a lot more epic of a moment had he not, like, backtracked into the built room and was like, bah! And does that weird jump cut right onto his face.
Yeah.
I love that scene. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, the way he moves his eyes in this movie is...
Well, Carl's always had those, like, for lack of a better term, dead eyes,
Yeah, but his acting is...
That's one of his features that made him a star,
Yeah, his eyes are weird.
They are weird. He's a brilliant actor. I watch him in stuff like The Raven and The Black Cat.
Yeah, but look on the back of this case. Look at the eyes. If I can get it to zoom in.
Let's see what you think about this, man. Like, there are scenes in this movie, the imagery that you'll just never forget. Like that first zoom in on Frankenstein's face when it's kind of just like, like just this part of his face, or when he's looking at the light, or the scene in the windmill. I mean, they're just shots. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. There's shots of this movie that are just, single, like some of the most famous stills to ever come out of a movie. Especially the one with his hands looking at the light.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing work.
Sorry.
They're showing some old, like, silent stuff. That's not my cup of tea, guys. I'm sorry, man. I love the Universal Monster stuff, but I'm not a big fan of silent films. I had to take a film appreciation class in college, and
what?
Yeah, I had to struggle through some of that stuff.
The silent films?
Oh my god. Yeah, it's just not my cup of tea. Sorry, guys. And yeah, what you wanted to talk about the windmill scene? There's something you like about the
hilarious. I know this is back in the 30s, but comparing Frankenstein, the monster, I about messed up right then, throwing Dr. Frankenstein off the windmill, and then one of the blades catch him in the stomach.
Then he rolls off.
Yeah, imagine that to effects today.
It'd probably CGI. It'd probably look worse.
Yes.
I mean, there is some stuff in this movie, it being so old that it is kind of, humorous. We're at 14 minutes, man. We gotta wrap this up.
Oh, okay.
So, unfortunately, we didn't get to get everything I want to talk about. Like, I want to talk about, the fact that, oh, good lord, the fact that there's, not a whole lot of music. I like that. I like the fact that it's kind of silent. But we'll talk about Frankenstein again some other time. Right now, what do you give it?
I give it a 5.
I gave it a 5 as well. Frankenstein's my favorite of the Universal monsters. It's your favorite. No, your favorite creature.
Yeah, I like creatures.
It's my favorite. It's Matt's favorite, but he likes it.
Well, he's one of my favorites.
We both give it a 5. We both love the movie. And thanks for watching, guys, and check back for the last review of Mattober.
Wow.